Hello there, everybody. Welcome to a reaction to the Seattle Kraken at St. Louis Blues loss, October 14th, 2023. It will be uploaded a few days late. I apologize for that. Busy weekend here at Circling Seattle Sports. I am your host, as always, Charles Hamaker, here with you. Tough game for Seattle. They finish out their road trip. 0 wins, 2 losses, and 1 overtime loss. It's a tough one. This one does go to a shootout. Some similar characteristics for this game, um, as opposed in relation to the last two. The first period, good high energy for the Kraken. They generate chances on the offensive end. St. Louis kind of has a push towards the end of the first period. The second period is a little bit wild. Before Seattle gets on the board for their first actual goal of the game, which was scored by Jaden Schwartz on the power play. Yes, I said a power play goal. Don't be too surprised. Or do. I mean, I'm not your boss. There was an opportunity that Seattle had um, to have the first goal of the game earlier, but because of a goaltender interference call on Jared McCann, that his stick very lightly touched Blues goaltender Jordan Binnington up on his blocker side. And it was funny. Binnington's legs came out from underneath him when it was his blocker that was lightly grazed. So unsure about that. Kind of some embellishment there by Binnington, but not surprised given his character as a human being. Tough one. Seattle doesn't get that goal, and if they did, they win this game. If the rest of the game plays out as it did, Jaden Schwartz gets the first goal of the game. 40 seconds into the second period on a power play. It's a power play goal. He gets the tip in off the assist from Oliver Bjorkstrand and Vince Dunn. The Vince Dunn assist is his 100th point as a Kraken player. So that was nice to see. Just unfortunate that about 7 minutes and some change later, St. Louis is able to answer with a goal of their own as Jordan Kyrou. The Blues really were the Blues and the Kraken were going rush for rush, and Kyrou is able to score. St. Louis kind of gets an odd man rush there, and beats Joey Decourt, who's got his first start of the season. So tough one there. It's tied up, goes into the third period. No one's able to score there. In the overtime period, Seattle dominates the puck heavily, to not the amusement of the Blues fans in attendance at the Enterprise Center. A lot of booing, as the Kraken were very smart with the puck. If they didn't like the look, they just kind of circled back and looked for a new look, got a different rush, and kept the St. Louis skaters on. In that respect, it was good. And the Kraken had an opportunity late to go ahead and win it in that overtime period with less than 30 seconds, as Adam Larson had a shot that was coming down. He was barreling down in the high danger zone, and his shot is just a few inches from going into the net, but Jordan Binnington's left leg pad stops it. We go to the shootout. The shootout problems. Do I want to talk about that now? Yeah, we have to. Yeah, we have to talk about it now. It was funny in the inaugural season for the Kraken. They went 3-1 in shootouts on the season. Last year they went 0-4. This year they're off to a bad start, 0-1. So they're 0-5 since year one in the shootout. The shootout doesn't. They tried some different players this time around. It was Matty Beniers first, then Oliver Bjorkstrand and Jordan Eberle. All three of them fail, unfortunately. Binnington has a relatively solid night, which I say begrudgingly given the character of him as a human being. And only one Blues player scored. It's Jordan Thomas. I don't believe his name's actually Jordan. I could be wrong. Robert Thomas. My apologies. I had Jordan Kyrou in my head there. Robert Thomas scores on the last attempt that St. Louis had and wins it there for them. The Kraken get one standings point. That's fine. Now we'll go into some of the other stuff. Joey Decourt in his first start of the season, he looked good. Joey looked good in his first start of the year against the Blues. As you can see on your screen here, Little Joey with this photo by Matthew. 24 saves, a 960 save percentage. He saved two of those shootout attempts in his first start of the season. He had a 1.07 goals saved above expected. So Joey looks strong. I mean, he kind of showed why he earned that backup position behind Philip Grubauer, and goaltender has been strong for the Kraken so far this season. Obviously, it's a small sample size through 3 games, but they've played some talented teams. So to see that goaltender, those goaltenders show out early on is good. And to largely see that the goals that opposing teams have gotten have come on sort of odd man rushes, I can kind of live with that. That's stuff that can be fixed. So it was nice to see Joey have a nice game here and really show out. He did earn the NHL's second star for this game. We look at it. The lone goal scorer, as I mentioned, Jaden Schwartz scores against his former team. 1 goal, 2 shots, 2 hits on the day. Nice tip in there. Sort of some that Jaden Schwartz can bring here, that veteran savvy, a nice tip in front of the goal off the Bjorkstrand assist. So Seattle goes 1 for 1 on the power play, which was kind of funny. I talked about it in our CSS on Converge episode. Excuse me, I had hiccups. The last 2 power plays that the Kraken have had, the second one in Nashville looked really good. They didn't score on it, but it looked really good. And then this one that they scored on in St. Louis, the only one they got, head coach Dave Haxtell did say that he thought that they should have more than the one from this game. Maybe there's some positive momentum building on here potentially. So that will lead us straight into the special teams side of things. 1 power play, no notes, they scored on it. I mean, it's what you need from the power play. It was a power play that started at the end of the first period and then carried over to the second period. The penalty kill continues to look excellent. Seattle still has not allowed a power play goal. Knock on the woods. And it's looked there. There was one play where Pierre-Edouard Belmar's stick broke. No, it was Jamie Alexiak's stick who had broke. So Belmar gave his stick to Alexiak, who we'll talk about in a second when it comes to the penalty kill. And Belmar, it was like, if you're a soccer fan, a cross had come into the box and you're trying to play it with your foot and you kind of dive at it and you kind of stab at it with your foot. That's what Belmar did to block a pass and essentially make a clear during one of the the penalty kills. And Jamie Alexiak too. He had a excellent game on the kill in this one. Whether it was his physical play or his shot blocking ability, and he had a great game overall, not just on the penalty kill. So the kill continues to look good, and maybe with how the last 2 power plays have gone for the Kraken, there's some momentum building right now for them. We look over now. There was no update on Brandon Tanev. He did not go into morning skate. It was an optional skate ahead of the St. Louis game, and there's still no sort of update on Tanev. We'll look here. Yeah, still undisclosed. So there's nothing officially from the team about what the injury is. It likely is a head injury. As you've seen by now, Vegas forward Brett Howden, who did lay the hit on Tanev in the opening night game, was suspended for 2 games after that. And so there's no update. People did point out that there was no corresponding call up from Coachella Valley, the AHL affiliate of the Kraken, to replace Tanev's spot. So there might be optimism that he'll be back sooner rather than later, potentially. Some point during the upcoming homestand on the 17th, 19th, or 21st. We'll have to see that. We've got practice by the time you're seeing this today, Monday the 16th. So we'll ask about that. Follow us on social media for that in real time, but no update on Brandon Tanev as of right now. That leads us over to the end of it with the road trip. It's tough. No wins, 2 losses, and 1 point off that overtime loss. Seattle, as you can see, as I remove the banner now, only scored 2 goals over the course of the first 3 games. As I've kind of talked about in the last 2 reaction videos, I don't think it's anything necessarily. Oh, wait. Oops. Wrong banner I got rid of. Sorry about that. I'm not too overly concerned right now about the lack of goals. I think this is just a bad bounce situation right now. The Kraken have been able to generate really solid. The shot quality against Nashville wasn't really great. Here in St. Louis, they were a few pipes away from some more goals, and they should have had that other one. There should have been a Vince Dunn goal on the goalie interference call against McCann that Binnington embellished. But I really think it's just one game where the floodgates open and then things go from there. A lot of people have pointed out, oh, I miss Donato and Sprong and Geeky, and I understand that. It's fair to miss players, but um, you know, the fourth line last year was very offensive minded with those three players in particular. Um, and you look at this group now, the fourth line, we'll include Tanev in though he's injured, with Tanev and Belmar and Cartier, Yamamoto, not so much in regards to what I'm about to say. They're much more defensive minded. So you probably won't see that sort of offensive production that you got from those three that I just mentioned, and Donato, Geeky, and Sprong, that you will this year. But the shot production is there right now. The quantity is there. The quality has been there. I think it's a matter of time before they're able to start generating. The goaltender play looks good. The penalty kill has looked good. Um, Defense has had some mistakes. So I'm sure those can be cleaned up as well. As I mentioned, some odd man rushes have gotten the other team's goals. And it's early in the season. They played some good teams. Vegas and Nashville have some good roster makeup, and St. Louis as well has talent still. So you've I'm really not too worried about it. But it's going to be a big homestand coming up. So we look at it here. The next game that the Kraken play is Tuesday, October 17th versus the Colorado Avalanche. It's the first time that they'll meet the team that they bounced in the first round of last year's Stanley Cup playoffs in 7 games. It'll be a big one. It's going to be on ESPN. It's not on the Root Sports broadcast. It's a 7 o'clock puck drop. If you are coming to the game, there is a camper mug giveaway. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, you've got Colorado to kick off the homestand, the 3-game homestand. Colorado on Tuesday, Carolina on Thursday. Carolina, who just got beat by the Ducks, 6-3. And then on Saturday, you've got the New York Rangers. So it's 3 teams that made the playoffs last season. It's not going to be an easy feat, but with the positives that the Kraken have, if they can execute and if they can get some of these goals to go their way, if they can get a puck to bounce the right way, I think they should be in good shape. So that is it for Reaction Kraken at Predators, October 14th, 2023.